Hi, my name is Kayla Clark, and this is my persuasive speech. My specific purpose is to inform my audience the pros, cons, stats, and focus behind the myelinotomy and why it can be the right surgery for your child. My speech will contain benefits, downfalls, statistics to back up information, and the main focus behind the specific procedure. My child has always suffered from chronic ear infections back to back until we had this done. We had a myring performed on my 7-month-old daughter. I am a parent, a mother, the only person my child knows. I have been through this firsthand. As a parent, no one wants their child to undergo surgery at any age, but this was the best decision we ever made for Bray. This is my way of personally informing you of how this drastically changed our lives. Once we scheduled this surgery and went through with it, I saw an enormous change in my daughter. We were no longer fighting chronic back-to-back ear infections. She was no longer getting sick all the time due to the pressure buildup and not releasing the toxic fluid that was stuck behind her tympanic membrane, which is her eardrum. We now had a happy, playful, loving baby. 2 days after surgery, her speech improved quite drastically. She was beginning to mock us as if she couldn't hear us before, like what we were saying. The next day, she said "papa" for the first time. A week after surgery had went by, she began to realize that she could stand up and pull herself up on her own. She will now walk and push her push toys and take steps here and there on her own. She has never tried to take steps before the surgery. Before the surgery, Bray had it very difficult. We battled 4 ear infections in 5 months. She was not very playful. She hated to be put down and did not want to walk, talk, crawl, anything. She had a rough time sleeping at night due to the buildup of pressure behind her ear. This procedure has rapidly become one of the most common in children and infants in recent years. The placing of this tube can help with prolonged ear infections, hearing, speech, crawling, equilibrium, and daily motor skills. Once the tube is placed in the tympanic membrane, antibiotic ear drops can be administered. Without the tube in the ear drops would not reach the middle ear to clear the infection until the child was a little older and the eardrum was fully developed. A myelinotomy can improve hearing in an infant by allowing the fluid buildup or mucus that's behind the tympanic membrane to flow out of the middle ear into the outer ear. The fluid buildup can cause a person loss of hearing or the sound of muffled words. Fluid can also build up around the cochlea. This is the system for hearing and balance. The placement of tubes can also help with speech improvement. The improvement of speech is almost instantaneous in infants and children. Once the fluid is released and from the compressing on the tympanic membrane and the cochlea in the middle ear, the sounds become more louder and clearer to an infant. The vestibular system in the inner ears for balance. There can be fluid as well as pressure buildup in the middle ear. Once the tubes are placed in the eardrum, the pressure is released. Once the pressure buildup is lowered or banished, an infant will have more control over his or her own balance. Without equilibrium, sense of hearing and speech can be set back on their daily motor skills. Motor skills are an essential part of learning for an infant or toddler. This is when they learn to use their hands, feet, mouth, and nose to sense things as they're growing. There was a study done in the 1990s on children with chronic otitis media and how it affected the sway of a child's body or the way they walk. The study showed that the balance is significantly worse in children with chronic otitis media compared to a control group. Furthermore, the increase of the body sway of children with chronic otitis media was returned to normal range by a myringotomy and insertion of ventilation tubes in 1990. This statement proves that the placement of ventilation tubes can release unwanted pressure in the middle ear. No one ever wants to put their child under the knife at any age, but as parents we deserve to know the possible downfalls and outcomes of the surgery. Insertion of ventilation tubes is the most common ambulatory surgery performed on children in the United States. Tympanic tubes are often inserted because of persistent middle ear fluid, frequent ear infections, and ear infections that persist without antibiotics. Fluid can remain built up in the middle ear even after oral antibiotics. If one were to describe antibiotics as an eardrop, it would not do justice, being it will not be able to reach the middle ear. Frequent ear infections are persistent with timing and how long they last in a child and how often they occur. It is crucial in children with chronic ear infections get treated as soon as possible, as it can lead to brain damage. Toddler ear tubes take away tightness. When fluid builds up behind the eardrum, toddlers feel a lot more pressure, like when you're on an airplane or in an elevator. Tubes drain the fluid, and less liquid equals less pressure. Your toddler will hear better now. Toddler ear tubes will make sounds louder and clearer for your little babies now, as fluid will go through the tubes in 2019. Fluid and pressure can build up in the middle ear, causing pain and discomfort in a child. This can cause speech delay as well as balance issues. I was told that the pressure can make noises and words sound muffled, almost like you're speaking underwater into a pillow of your hand. As for balance, the ear is the center of balance for most mammals. There is a lot of pressure on one who will not walk, talk, or crawl due to the feeling of pressure as it is rising. Ear tubes can come out too early or stay in too long. If an ear tube expels from the eardrum too soon, which is unpredictable, fluid may return and repeat surgery may be needed. Ear tubes that remain in for too long may result in a perforation or may require to be surgically removed. The ear tube will eject itself out of the eardrum in most cases. In the cases that it does not, it will have to be removed. Surgery is always a con, but it helps to comfort, soothe, and treat your child, then go for it. I would do anything I could to help the health and safety of my kid. A child is having multiple infections of the middle or inner ear, is speech or sensory delayed, or may even be falling behind with walking or crawling, and this procedure is proven effective to help with stimulation of these obstacles. The tube that is placed is hollow and allows air and fluid to flow easily in and out of the ear, pain-free. It is a safer and effective way to put antibiotic drops into the ear than continuously take them orally. It is important to treat an ear infection in a child or infant as quickly and aggressively as possible, as it can lead to brain damage if left untreated. In closing, I support this procedure if it entitles doing what is best for your child. As a parent, we must have knowledge on the ear itself, how the procedure is performed, and personal input is what makes us most comfortable. I hope this helps you understand. What would you do if your child was suffering from chronic ear infections? Here we have the ear. This is the eardrum, the tympanic membrane, and this is the tube that's placed. This is a closer view of the eardrum and then the tube. This is a comparison of the size of a penny versus the size of a tube. Thank you.